Give me my bone shredder. I want my nostalgia gun. One just isn't enough. I need two. Can of Surge. The taste of the 90s. I'll accept any parts on it, but it's got to have a reflex sight, no scope. Because a scope on a bone shredder is structurally superfluous. First choice of sight is Doll. Second choice Malawan. Third choice Hyperion.
Why loot the dead when you can buy from me? Always happy to do business with a vault hunter. Goodbye, friend. If you shop anywhere else.
I hope weapon designs not even recording for 2 whole minutes. I've already got a phone call interrupting everything. Always with the interruptions. Give me a moment, just a moment. I'm back. If I ever start doing live streams, I'm just not going to answer my phone.
I can fix that.
Even though my phone looks like the fastball. Sort of.
Guns. I got them. You need them. See you soon. 2 words, my friend. No refund.
I have half a mind to start a second channel specifically for live streaming. And if I do, I think I'll call it Generation Zen. In reference to both the Zennial generation and, of course, Zen from Half-Life.
Whoa! Someone actually bought one?
Some people say Xennial. Some people say Xenial.
Let me know if anything.
But let me explain why both of those are wrong. In accordance with the way the word is spelled, Xennial, the only way that can be pronounced is Xennial.
What can I get for you?
And I haven't emptied this out yet, but that's not a big deal.
Welcome to my humble shop. Remember, we're always open.
It's the vault hunter they've been talking about.
I'm getting sidetracked already. I wanted to talk about gun logic that I hope to see in Borderlands 3. Then that phone call took my mind off what I was talking about. And now I'm talking about something else. Which should I talk about then? Should I talk about gun logic, or should I talk about whatever it was I was talking about 5 seconds ago? Well, now my mind is back on gun logic, so let's talk about that. 3 barrels. It's a top brake breech loader, therefore, well, that's already a disappointment. kind of ridiculous that they're able to land so many strikes on you in 1 second, just by butting their head against you. Those rabid skags. Top breech loader with 3 barrels cannot hold any number of rounds other than 3. No more, no less. What am I stuck on? Wow, this is useless. It's only good for killing weak enemies or finishing off wounded enemies. Well, it didn't cost a whole lot. It's a blue 49. Just completely ignores my turrets. Turret kill. That's what saved me. Even with the amp shield, I don't know. I expect more out of a Jacobs shotgun. I really do. Oh, look at that. I finally found one of these, and it's less than what I've got. Don't feel like... I don't feel like going through all that, and I don't feel like dealing with this. Video game logic. Okay, so weapon logic in Borderlands 3. Apart from how much sense it makes to have a gun with a certain number of barrels and it holds a certain number of rounds. If it has a repeating action, then its capacity should be, you know, in keeping with logic, a multiple of the number of barrels it has. I need a new double tap with a better stock. Well, let's not take all day, shall we? Oh, there it is! Of course, it would have a scope. But, hey, that is similar to how the old Tediore Bone Shredder was in Borderlands 1, and it too also had a square/rectangular scope. This is kind of like a double anarchy. Consumes 2 cartridges per shot. Unleashes 3 projectiles per shot. Not sure how they figure that. Once again, that's Borderlands logic. Fancy mathematics. Didn't need to crouch there, I just did it because I've gotten accustomed to it. The more second wins I score, the more progress I make on challenges related to that sort of thing. So sometimes I let that happen on purpose. The position of these mags doesn't really make any sense. If there was only one, then yeah. But because it's a semi-bullpup with 2 diagonal mags, you'd really have barely any place for your arm. if they were angled differently, like if they were angled up, then you still wouldn't want it to be in this semi-bullpup configuration. But angled up, they make a bit more sense. I saw an episode of Forgotten Weapons where Ian McCallum talked about an American gun from World War I. He said it fit the definition of an assault rifle. And it had twin mags arranged in a V on top. The sights were right in the middle. Had I been using a Jake, that would have taken one shot. So even though this bandit scope is kind of a lot like the square/rectangular scope, which I think was a Type 3 sight for SMGs in Borderlands 1, it's still structurally superfluous. Therefore, I might continue farming until I get one that has the right kind of sight. Let's see what other parts this has. TDR grip and TDR stock. So it's a perfect hybrid. Bandit with a bandit scope, a bandit gun with a bandit scope, and the rest of the parts are TDR. Come closer. Ah, of course. That actually does make sense, though. Some twin-shot SMGs called double SMGs in Borderlands 1 could contend with double anarchies. The best double anarchies were made by Torg because they're the most powerful, and the best double SMGs were made by Hyperion because they're the most accurate. But a Dahl double SMG would be pretty good too. And if it was the same level, it would be more powerful than the Hyperion. The expenditure of 2 cartridges per round is no big deal. It's a worthy and economical expenditure. 2 cartridges for 3 projectiles. In the case of the double anarchies from Borderlands 1, it was an expenditure of 2 cartridges for 4 projectiles. Now that makes sense because we can imagine that each cartridge contains like a pair of flechettes or something. Not bad, not bad. If I didn't already have a bushwhack. Development. Might be more exciting to me. Really? There's some gambling money. Now, there's still something I need before I proceed, and I had one that I got from gambling, but I sold it because it was green. And that is a droog. And I need it. I don't really need it because I've got the Lady Fist. But it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a droog for destroying constructors.
You've had your shots.
And for specifically that purpose. Oh, and it's a 48. If this was a contact sludge, I'd consider keeping it. Because those can be fun to use. They're basically like...
See you real soon, I'm sure.
Feeling overburdened by money.
Molotov cocktails filled with slag.
Anytime.
I will go out and play with my new toy! Wow. really not impressed at all with how it performs against these things. Stupid recoil. Not even bothering trying to dodge this thing's attacks, since you pretty much can't.
Not dead yet!
No! I wonder what the perfect parts would be for the bone shredder slash bone stinger. No, I already did. Carved it, yeah. Yeah, that's good enough. That's more like it. So you can get some use out of this too. Even though it's pointless. Do I expect too much from my equipment? I feel like it would be insulting for me to not expect something from it. I'll give that development to one of my cells. The development is a good cell-style shotgun. A good Zircon gun. full auto shotgun. Full auto shotgun that uses SMG ammo. In functional terms, that's basically what it is. Just like a double anarchy. -1 projectile. Projectile. Don't take my Generation Zen idea. I looked it up and so far no one else has used that name. And without the B, anything that's not elemental is just kind of mediocre by this point. You see how much faster it is to aim with iron sights, and these don't line up right? Compared with a scope. It's not just the fact that there's a, I don't know, there's not a huge delay when you're aiming with a scope. It's not that, it's hard to describe, but it just feels less intuitive. And really all it does is it cuts off your peripheral vision. Video game logic. Stuck on a non-obstacle. I wonder what Firestone Tires thinks of that. I wondered that all the way back in Borderlands 1. It's spelled differently, so I guess that's not a copyright issue. I don't think I'll need a Droog, Vladov Droog, or Doll Scout for destroying constructors since I've got the Lady Fist. But the thing is, I'm anticipating my B going down.
Not from me if you want to live.
As it does. Make sure I didn't accidentally sell something I wanted to keep, and everything looks good.
I'll patch you up whenever you need it.
Let me do at least one more. Maggie. Buntline Special Edition. Ever heard of the Buntline Special? Look it up. It might interest you. Come on, use key, wake up. This time, I will check this shop first. An iron. Four shots, each comprised of 4 projectiles. It may be a green, but let's take a look at it. It's a perfectly parted, level 50 ornery iron. It's only too bad it wasn't blue. Not that I would expect a blue from ordinary enemies, but it's a perfectly parted green. That's something. It won't be something for much longer once I'm on Uniform Victor Hotel Mike. Bring it from my cold dead hands.
Cool story, bro.
First of all, disabled.
Well, that didn't make literal sense, did it? Bring it from my cold dead hands. You know what I mean. That's 2 sentences. Bring it. And then from my cold dead hands.
Not today!
Really?
Not dead yet!
I think I saw another.
Boom shakalaka!
Yeah. And this one has an even worse scope. It's a TDR scope. Never mind that. If you hear my fastball phone making sounds, just ignore it. Well, 2 previous attempts that resulted in nothing and were at least an hour each, and now I have 2 in a row. I've acquired 2 in a row. Random, random, random. I'm dodging your gyro jets while crouched. How does that make you feel? And I like Torg guns even.
Increasing aggression. Moving to engage.
So much scopes on everything. Bring it. Oh. Axton is too survivable. Screw it. It's taking too long. Keep it, sell it. Keep that. And these. And I might as well go ahead and sell this, but yeah.
See you real soon, I'm sure.
I still want a blue one, even though I've got the lady fist. Oh, what's this? Let's try this out.
Get your health and shields right here.
Still keeping this though.
Next time you're bleeding to death, just think, doctor.
I need to find some skags to try this on. Let's see what the fuse times are on these. Always having to fight against the terrain.
Grind him up!
Gaul versus Hyperion. Target death imminent. Keep telling yourself that. Hey, you stuck? Always fun. All right. By the way, when it comes to railguns, two brands that I really don't like for them are Vladov and Dahl.
If you got the money, I'll save your goddamn life.
In my opinion, the Vladov barrel works well on Hyperion sniper rifles.
Try not to die.
Let me know if anything catches your eye.
Since it slightly speeds up, at least
Good thing, then.
they're unnecessarily slow
Have you, kid?
fire.
Let's just get this out of the way. Yes, most of my merchandise was ripped from the hands
Which is, I've often said, would be justifiable if they were straight pull bolt action.
Cat!
Longbow just isn't my style.
Tossing grenade! Come next, huh?
Well, let me check something. I'll head back to Sanctuary and call it for this episode.
I don't die so easy!
Move! How did I get stuck on a rock that you should just be able to walk right over? I might do at least one more run here. First Sanctuary. That's tempting. Too bad it doesn't have a pig sticker on it.
I always buy guns you don't need. I'm sure we'll be doing this again soon.
I hear Jack isn't his real name, and that he isn't even handsome.
Who needs a medical license when you got style?
Lock and load. I've always got new stock. Check back later. Don't have too much fun.
Go ahead, try it. See.
Yes! Soon I'll be selling half dozens of these babies!
Is there anything else on my shopping list?
Let's just get this out of the way. Yes, most of my merchandise was ripped from the hands of dead adventurers.
I'm legally obligated to tell you, I ain't a real doctor.
High quality, low prices, and no questions asked.
Yeah, I've got that. That's my slagging gun. Not a gun, a launcher. You know what I mean.
I'm sure we'll do this again soon enough.
Well, remember what I said some episodes ago? I've decided that I do like slagging with Malawan sniper rifles. Oftentimes at long range or close range. One of my favorite weapon combos is a Malawan slag sniper rifle with a pig sticker attached to it and a Jacobs revolver. That way I can slag at long range and finish them off with the Jake.
Glorious guns.
Or I can slag at close range.
Now get to killing. Check back later to see.
I couldn't
my new
resist.
weapon of the day.
And stab them with a pig sticker. Too bad I can't take the pig sticker off of this and put it on that.
Explain it to me again.
Like I said,
You can never be too well armed.
I prefer to keep my distance from the target, pick my
Sell
mark,
this
and
one.
kill them with a single well-placed shot.
I don't know. I should get some more use out of the railgun, I guess. It's not really going to serve my purposes. It's just going to be kind of a fun gun, so to speak.
Feeling overburdened by money.
Just checking the time. I've had my fun with the buffalo. How many things? 11. I need to stash at least 2 things. And this thing will be there. I don't really need 2 slagging guns. A slagging gun and a slagging launcher. 1039, that'll do.
How are you still alive?
I'm going to take a break. I'm back. So, I took a break for actually a few hours. By your perception, I wasn't even gone. Had to run a few errands. Won't bore you with the details. Oh yeah, that's right. This. Blue label Torg rocket torpedo, and then a purple Vlad launcher. What's it called? What do you call a Vladov launcher with a matching Vlad barrel? I have the wrong grenade equipped.
On one hand,
Maybe this and this.
let's see.
Yeah, I stashed the rail gun. It's just not all that impressive.
Big guy coming!
I like the design of these junk bots, of course.
Success. Lethal force authorized. Success.
Current kill!
Really?
Right! To bed!
Increasing aggression. Bandit death pending.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to take what I've got.
Deploy sentry!
Once again, Loot Midge gives me nada. Not a thing. Yeah, I know I've got some good stuff now, but look how long it's taken for me to accumulate it.
Moving to engage. Increasing aggression.
Let's get you killing, sweetheart!
Bring it. Alright.
Lethal force authorized.
Auto guns chewing them up!
Guys, I've heard rumblings amongst the workers that our iridium mining operations are ravaging. I assume you're saying this because most of you didn't see what Pandora looked like before we showed up? You know what they call this place? The Badlands. There's a dry, dusty piss hole where dreams went to die. Now there's birds full of technologically advanced machines. Goddamn volcanoes. I mean, who doesn't love volcanoes? They're mountains that spit fire. That's literally the definition of the word awesome. Am I right?
from my cold dead hands.
A fantastic day for capitalism.
I was about to mention something, and then I got sidetracked and forgot what it was. I think the pandemic serves my purposes better than the bouncing Bonnie. So I'll probably stash the Bonnie and continue to use the pandemic. Sticky longbow Merv. That could be interesting.
Get your health and shields right here.
Oh, look at that. They have the same value.
Set out.
I know I often say stickies and longbows aren't my style because they're just a bit too fancy, but I can make exceptions. If I feel like it. I wonder what kind of damage B plus Striker would do if it was a level 50 Striker, for example. Frivolous Tactical Reload. Just so I'm starting fresh on this side.
Dropping sentry!
Whoa. Quick reflexes. But then it is a machine. Oh. Annihilated the turrets. Those lasers.
Now you be careful, honey. Take that!
Let's see what we got. More disappointment. And even more disappointment.
real doctor.
You know what? Let me... go check out TK's basement.
Low prices and no questions asked. Tell your friends, Marcus Munitions.
Since there's time left. Nothing interesting. It was worth a shot. Liquid Scout. It's a perfect hybrid. I would expect more magazine capacity. It's cheap. I don't really need it. Would be a good constructor buster. As far as standard issue guns go, second only to the Droog. 9-round mag, though. Can't comprehend that. Tri-burst. With Vlad parts. I know it's possible for them to do better. Because I've found one before that had an 18-round mag. The only dull sniper rifle I like. Normally I only use them if they have a bare minimum capacity of 12 rounds. Jacob's scope. All other parts are Vladoff on a dull receiver.
Hope you've had your shots.
And that's usually the way I like them. The Scout. This isn't put together quite like how a bullpup should be put together. The receiver should be drawn back more. And the receiver is the stock on a bullpup. So this looks like a bullpup. Maybe you could call it a semi-bullpup. Doll SMGs are bullpups. Wait, what am I doing? What the f... Did you see that? I clicked no, and it registered as yes. Am I the moron here, or do things just not work right? I clicked no. No, not one of you again. Oh. Ugh. Switch. Okay, fine.
Did you miss me?
Everything's pissing me off now. Why did it register as yes when I clicked no? Yes was highlighted, but that shouldn't matter because my cursor was on the word no. Does this fire tri-bursts? Yes. All you need. No more, no less. Not bad.
Success.
Like I was gonna die.
From my cold dead hands. The Lady Fist is good for destroying constructors. Oh. Meteor scope. I've gotten 3 of them so far. Bone shredders, that is. And they've all had scopes. 1 bandit scope and 2 Meteor scopes. That's how you do it. Left to right or right to left. If you do it just right, you can maybe blow off both arms and shoot it in the eye at the same time. All with one burst. If this had a 12 or 18 round mag, it would be kind of like a pounder. A dull pounder from Borderlands 1. The best burst fire rifle. Some would say the Cobra is the best combat rifle.
Not dead yet!
Oh, I screwed that one up. Had a feeling I might probably would, and I did. Really? What the hell do you have that's hurting me so much? Guns with flat-off barrels. Good synergy. If that dull repeater had a twin shot accessory, I might consider using it. 2.4 bandit scope, keep that. I have to compare. Light. Yeah, I would like a more accurate one. The more accurate one is more desirable, but it has the wrong kind of scope. I want Hyperion parts, like these. Hyperion. Yeah. Is that a, yeah, that's Hyperion, and that's Hyperion. I don't want that restrictive TDR scope.
Be careful out there.
Dig it. Double tap. I tapped it.
It's killing time!
Not so frivolous tactical reload. Oops. Yeah, I'm getting tired, huh? Oh, video game logic. This is going faster. Than last time. Interested in a slag singularity. Blue or better. That's really all I get. Most Borderlands 1 players have a distinct preference for machine guns over combat rifles. And this included myself at first. I thought combat rifles were pointless because all the ones I found had 12-round mags, which was incomprehensible to me.
On the one hand,
I only use combat rifles in Borderlands 1 that have 18-round mags. Occasionally, I might consider using a pounder, which is semi-auto and has a 6-round mag. Oh, these are pretty close to evenly matched, but even though there's one level difference, I'll take the Snyder over the Corinthian.
A fantastic day for capitalism.
Well, what are the chances of that I would find a sticky longbow, a purple 50 sticky longbow Merv in a shop?
I'm sure we'll be
And I have a sticky longbow Merv. I mean, what's the probability on that? With all the variety of stuff in this game. $87 bazillion. I think I'll call it for this episode, and I think I might do at least one more farming episode after this. And keep in mind, you can skip these farming episodes, gambling episodes, and whatnot if you just want to stick with the story stuff and the action stuff. Well, farming involves action, too. You know what I mean. What's back there, I wonder? Well, only 1.5 minutes left. I might as well hang out here till it changes over. Use key. Wake up. Ugh. And why couldn't I jump over that railing? Well, low ceiling bit. Oh. Diab. Well, let's at least see how it's parted. Base damage doesn't matter so much with a slagging gun. Oh, not this again.
You can never be too well armed. When you think murder, think Marcus munitions. Carviator. Goodbye, friend. If you shop anywhere else, I'll have you killed.
What else is on my shopping list? I've been trying to score wins. Score second wins with stuff other than TDR SMGs. I haven't had one of those for quite some time, actually.
Who needs a medical license when you got style? I'll patch you up with everything.
Why loot the dead when you can buy from me?
Electric Droog. 19 rounds full auto versus 9 rounds tri-burst.
Later, Vault Hunter. Come back any day.
And they told me pirating Iberian broadcast wouldn't pay. How you like them peas?
Feeling overburdened by money.
See how this compares.
Tell your friends, Marcus munitions.
Come on back anytime.
Set out.
Get the Z out. Do I have one more thing I can stash in there to give to someone else? This maybe, since I... No, this. Since I prefer the pandemic. And my fire delivery system of choice is my plasma caster.
thought being in the Lance was bad.
Sticky longbow Merv. That should be pretty awesome. And the bushwhack hasn't really impressed me much. I only really need one slagging gun. I should experiment with the sticky longbow Merv.
Explain it to me again.
Like that.
I bet this Hyperion reflex sight actually has more zoom than some SMG scopes. And that's just retarded. Retarded. Nonsensical and lame. In Borderlands 1, the Type 2 combat rifle scope, which was the only reflex sight you could get on a combat rifle, had more zoom than the Type 1 scope, which was basically just a magnifying lens, and really did nothing but cut off your peripheral vision. I will never understand. I didn't understand then, and I don't understand now. Why you can't have a combat rifle with iron sights in Borderlands 1, tease. Why can't we have that? Why are optics obligatory? And why is there only one reflex sight and everything else is a scope? I mean, shouldn't the reflex sight be the Type 1 sight and the most common? And if it's going to have any zoom at all, which it shouldn't it have the least amount of zoom? It would always drive me up a wall when I had an otherwise perfectly parted combat rifle in Borderlands 1. Complete with an 18-round mag, and then it would be topped off with a Type 1, chintzy Type 1 sight. Tease. The vaults themselves or the stuff that's in them? Creatures that are in them, I should say. Oh, did I check over here? See if Mike's hanging out. Tease. Not sure if I've mentioned this before, but notice how Hyperion pistols are hammer-fired, yet they use caseless ammo. The advertisement, 5-round burst. Sticking with the double tap. The advertisement that you see in Opportunity. It mentions caseless ammo. Typically, prismatic propellant is electrically ignited. Of course, this is the 29th century. Hey! I would like a blue or better. With at least a 28-round mag capacity. Tease. Get lots of doll rifles. Let me check something. Yeah, I should call it here pretty soon. Shouldn't 24 rounds be the absolute bare minimum for a rifle that fires 4-round bursts? Rather than 22 rounds? I mean, how much sense does that make? 24 is a multiple of 4 at least.
Come on back anytime.
700 times 2. I mean 700 extra damage times 2 in comparison. $9.39. Favorite caliber of the zone, except in Oblivion Lost 2010. All right, I might just have to keep doing this until I get a bone shredder that has an accuracy in the 40s and has either a Dahl or Maliwan sight. I might be able to force myself to tolerate a Hyperion sight despite its ridiculous zoom. We'll just have to see. Oh, and something I meant to mention earlier but forgot because I got sidetracked, as per typical. When I use the Jacob Striker combined with the B, sometimes I want to call it the Stinger. but that I might have mentioned that before. But that's, yeah, I already call the Bone Shredder the Bone Stinger. And I don't remember which of those nicknames I came up with first. I need to think of something new. Anyway, catch you on the flip side, and see you next mission, slabs.